I think we're live. I'm trying to bring us up on Instagram.
YouTube?
Why is this scheduled coming here? Isn't that weird? It says scheduled for 1:03 p.m. Maybe it's because it doesn't show us right away. Anyways, that's definitely you right now. So looks
I think
good.
you actually do usually pin us both so that we're both visible all the time.
All right, so let's do that. Pin and add pin. How are we doing now? Well, I guess we can't see because there's a time delay. Dope. So let's hope this works. Hello, everyone. I'm Sarah, also known as Imagine Landscapes.
And I'm Katie, also known as Rara114. Welcome to our monthly YouTube live, where it's mostly just a show and tell. Just a reminder that we do have a bi-weekly audio podcast, so that's every other week, not twice a week. And our next one, I don't remember when it's coming out. So we'll just skip over that. Thank you to the people who are already saying hello to us in the chat.
But we're still not the way we should be. So I'm not sure what's going on, that we're not both, I can't move a video while people are pinned. So apparently we're both pinned, but we're not showing up at the same time, which is going to be weird. So I'm going to try removing the pins.
I see it now.
Oh. So I should put the pin back.
Sarah, tell me about the tea that you're drinking while we
all right. We're such professional podcasters. All right. So I am drinking David's tea, the dark chocolate orange, and I am drinking a full scoop with a red rose because we got back late last night. And I mean, not that late. It was only midnight, but that is significantly past my bedtime. So definitely a snoozy sort of Sarah today. Have not accomplished much. I did empty my suitcases, including all my yarn. It's huge. That just does not convey how much yarn is back there, but emptied suitcases, almost finished a sock. I feel like that's a good first morning back after vacation.
You've been more accomplished than I got home at midnight last night also, but I was just a few streets over, but didn't turn the light off till 1, and then woke up with pain levels higher than usual. So my plans to do I was going to seam something today, and that didn't happen because bending over.
Oh yeah, because you've got exciting things to seam, right?
Yeah, but bending over is the thing that flares my nerve pain. So I am on my second large mug, or second mug TM, as you and I text each other. And this is also David's tea, a very heaping scoop of brown sugar bourbon black tea.
Ooh. Yeah, so second mug is like almost capitalized in our minds. And I think it's because when you start it is like a big choice in your day. Like, is it something you force yourself to wait for? Is it something it's like, oh no, today it's like finish mug 1, straight into second mug?
For you, you've got more choice because when I go into the office, like I have a smaller first mug, and then my second mug is my travel mug. And so,
right.
But when on weekends, yeah, it's always 2 of these, which are quite wonderful. I didn't actually make it all the way through my first mug because I slept in so much today.
Oh, wow.
Or just couldn't get out of bed so much today that I had to pour out half my first mug of red rose.
Goodness.
To have a full mug of the full awesome tasty thing.
That reminds me of like the All Brand commercials, like half a bowl. Because a full bowl full is half a bowl full too full. I think it was, wasn't it?
All right.
So thank you for everyone for reassuring us that we're both visible and things are good. We have between us only one FO to show today. And that is because I have given several away. So I knit my first muscle bra, cast on and finished it really fast because I did not do mine in fingering weight.
Oh, that's right. I can't believe it was your first. I think I've done 3 by now.
Yeah, well, we did so many sock heads that I felt like my family had been fairly thoroughly hatted. And I was trying to focus on other things, but I really Dad's been doing a lot of late night photography. He's doing a lot of astrophotography lately. And I wanted him to have one that was like, he likes a couple of the hats I've done where I've held yarns double, or there's some that he likes. But the thing about the Musselburgh is that it is quadruple thick if you don't just wear it slouchy, but you fold it. And so I knit it out of DK. And I figured DK weight quadruple thick, even on a pretty windy night in the prairies. I mean, it's not going to be windproof, but that's got to be not too far. So I was really happy about that. And what was great was I had a skein that was weirdly like 140 grams. I bought it at the Manitoba Fiber Festival, like maybe my very first one from Cloud9 Fiberworks. And it was like this big skein, and it's just been sitting in my bin. And if you know me, you know that I am trying to get to those odd skeins in my bins. And so this was perfect because it was enough. And I actually got like a full Musselburgh out of one skein, which is not possible unless you have like a mega skein. So I was pretty excited about that.
And for added context, folks, lately it has been -40 at night.
Yes. And we are, for
so
some reason, swapping in and out again on the screen.
we are. Yeah. So apparently the pinning did work.
Did not.
Oh, then unpin us.
I don't know what we're going to do here. We're going to try this. I'm going to go to gallery view again. Hopefully we're back, because so I finished a pair of socks for Reiner and a hat for Dad. And now I want to show you my FO, which I have not yet worn once. Haven't even tried on since I blocked it because, okay. So I was knitting the, what's this even called? City Limits by Tanis Fiber Arts. It is a sweater that she knit for worsted weight gauge, and her son's version is knit in worsted with the stockinette side out. It has on the stock, if you wear it that way, there is a purl ridge that goes down the raglan line, and then two purl, well, they're not even ridges at that point, it's like a trough, right? Yeah. A purl trough, two of them down. So you basically, like, where the raglan line would go, you cast on stitches, and then there's the raglan line on the other side, and you just kind of continue that down. And then her version was knit in fingering weight held double, where you alternate. So you do AA, then AB, then BB, BC, etc. And hers were speckled, and so they faded a little more. Like, she could just basically like stop and switch to the next yarn, and it looked pretty faded, but mine didn't. So I did a bunch of fading. And anyways, so you knit it right side out. So you're knitting everything. And her side, she did the reverse side stockinette out, which I wanted because it really improves the look of the fade. So the problem is, if you're knitting knit side out, but knit side out is the wrong side. I thought I had done a really good job of always remembering to like drop ends to the front, and I had a lot of ends to weave in, and Katie's gone. I think there may be a cat emergency. All right, so I'll just keep talking. So I put the stockinette side to the front, and or I thought I had all the ends to the front, wove them all in. There were lots. And because I was knitting it inside out for way I normally wanted to wear it, doing the knitting in the ends technique wasn't working. And but so I soaked it. I got it all like between two towels, rolled it up, stood all over it, went to flip it inside out because I, for whatever reason, hadn't flipped it out till that moment, and all of a sudden discovered that no, reflex is hard to beat, and I have a few ends to weave in still.
Just a few.
I mean, compared to what I had, this is like 5%. This is not a big deal. But on the other hand, like, this isn't something I could wear. And I kept being like, okay, I'm gonna get to that tonight. I'll get to that tonight. And I never got to it because I was trying to get ready for leaving for Toronto. So this will be my very first time putting it on since I blocked it. So
before you do that though, I think it's kind of funny that you still have all of those ends, because I was literally just watching your video on weaving in ends as you go in the round.
It's really hard if you're knitting, but you want the purl side out.
Yes. Yeah, that makes sense.
And because I was like fading yarns in and out, my brain was really like gonna struggle with it. So yeah. I actually, before I put it on, I'm going to show you the difference between if I did the reverse stockinette side out. Okay, so what that does is that it means that there isn't so hard of a striping where you start alternating the colors in, because like I said, her pattern does a really good job of saying, okay, so if you're knitting the same row gauge and you're knitting the medium, you'll probably get 17 rows in AA, 17 in AB, right? But I wanted to fade it because mine was really going to stripe hard. And you can see if I did the stockinette side out, like that's a hard stripe.
That's a line.
Right? Like that's,
yeah.
Because mine were not very speckly. They were some of them were at least variegated so that there was like lights and darks, and some of them were closer and farther away. So make sure I'm holding it up. So this is the exact same side I just showed you.
Yeah, such a difference.
That's the difference. And that's why, like, if you're struggling with your fade, make sure you're doing it in garter or reverse stockinette, because it's going to make a really big difference in how it diffuses the color. Whereas stockinette, it's that row of tidy V's, right? Like that's what it's doing. And so anyways, so I did modify it in that I did a folded collar. So I knit it extra long and folded it down. So let's do this. I'm nervous. What if I don't like it? Oh my goodness.
Well, and you have issues with the last sweater that you tried knitting for yourself, right? Where it wasn't the right fit. So I totally understand why you're nervous, but so far that's looking heckin' good.
Oh yes, it is.
Sarah,
that is
a win.
Oh, so I also didn't want the double. It wasn't a big enough look for me.
Yeah.
So I made it down to a single.
It looks so good, Sarah.
So because I was so worried about fading it in, and I like did the 17 rounds, but you do short rows. So can you see how much more white there is here than here?
Only because you pointed it out, but yeah.
Right, but like I was like, oh gosh, was that 17 rows including this, not including this? And then I was like, oh wait, I need to fade it in. So I'd like start fading it in, and then I'm like, oh, and I got to do that, just like, but then I need to fade it out. And so I was using, because I wasn't doing I hadn't done the math of like, what's 17, because she said like, then you'll have enough yarn. So what's 17 when you're fading in, knitting it by itself and fading it out? So I didn't do a great job. So you'll see, I actually didn't get to the like fifth color held just double. This is gray plus green here, and you can see the difference here because I was literally running on fumes as I did these two sleeves. I used my my jeweler's scale and like divided the balls perfectly evenly and like knit one sleeve. And then I stopped here and knit this other bit to make sure that I wasn't like delusional somehow in my math. I mean,
your scale hadn't lied to you.
Yeah, like I don't know. I was really nervous at this point. So yeah, like and so it doesn't line up where that starts. But I actually think that's better.
I like it a lot. Yeah.
Because like who necessarily wants a stripe all the way across? Like that's a right? Like, so to have it slightly offset, I think is a little more like, this part of my body is my arm and it's not part of my body, you know, like, it's funny. I did the version where theoretically I should have done an I-cord trim, because I did the I-cord here, which I really like, because she says it makes it more reversible, and it would if I wanted to flip it inside out. But because I was going to be starting this so much higher and I hadn't done it at all here, what I decided to do was to do like a big thing of knit one, purl one ribbing. So like,
yeah, I think we talked about that on one of the audio podcasts.
Yeah, so that it would be like, look, this is really on purpose. It's totally different. And I meant it that way. Not I ran out of all my other yarns. But yeah, like I was down to fumes. I have a picture somewhere on my project page. And when I finally get around to taking an FO picture, I will also then post like my little tiny, I was down, like, I didn't even finish this really in a nice way. Like it's a pretty like janky sew down because I was inside, like,
so no worries.
Yep. But it works. It works
so well, Sarah.
I did forget the one thing I like to do, which is to add short rows on the back. Yeah. But I think it's okay in this one.
Probably for the best. It looks so good. It looks so good. You're going to wear the heck out of that. Awesome. I'm so excited for you.
I'm going to take it off though, because it is warm in here today.
Oh, that's so funny. I'm cold in here and wish if we weren't on video with audio, I would be turning on my little heater that I've got to point directly at my feet when I'm in my office. It looks so good.
Oh, and I should say the yarn is from Mud Punch. So it is, I won 6 colors, and 3 grays, 3 greens. I skipped the brightest green because it was like if
Almost-
Aqua went nuclear.
Almost fluorescent toothpaste.
Yeah, it was super intense. It was she called it rock flower, and it's like the thing. Rock flower is what makes glacial lakes and mountain lakes that insane color of blue. It was a good name for the color, but not for like me. So
also that's your Imagine Knitting Cal project.
it is. I'm almost done. I thought I was done, but then I flipped it inside out and I found all those ends.
That's awesome. Yeah, shipping is a real thing. Hey, Gina. I find that too, even with some American yarns, just getting up to Canada can be quite a bit.
Yeah, shipping is a thing, man. Whew.
So on to whips.
Yes, you have 4. I have 2. So I think we should do like 2 you, 1 me.
Sure. So should I start with my whip that's closest to FO?
Sure.
So this is the one that I was hoping to have finished, at least mostly finished for today. This is also my Imagine Knitting Cal project. This is, I'm calling it the Braided and Cabled Poncho. And I just need to seam it together, tack down the collar and do the fringe. But it has been blocked. So I will stand up. So it still has stitch markers on it. So big, beautiful cables at the bottom with gorgeous, gorgeous fringe. And let me just put it on like I'm going to pretend that it's all together. So it'll be kind of like this.
Oh, wow. I love that.
And then this floppy collar. There's buttonholes, and I'll put on buttons so that sometimes I can have it standing up all the way as a, can't do it right like this right now, but I'll be able to wear it as a turtleneck. So I just need to, I think it's mattress stitch that I'll be using.
Yeah, I imagine.
Along here, and then I still haven't even snipped the fringe, so I just didn't want to risk anything. So
I was going to ask how you'll be finishing. Are you knotting the fringe? Are you doing the knot?
Well, I'm very definitely going to be doing the knot, and then we'll see how much energy I've got after as to whether or not I do the knot underneath. I think it looks lovely, but and this is.
And I would wait to trim until you're done the knotting, because it's just to get 2 ends through is harder than just the loop.
Yes. Yeah. It is made out of Knit Picks Swish DK in Dove, and it is soft and wonderful. And I am flying tomorrow for the first time since before the pandemic for a professional thing. And there's a part of me that's trying to figure out if I can finish this and wear it for a work day, because I'm actually leaving right from work to the airport and traveling with a whole bunch of colleagues. And I might, if I've got the energy and the nerve pain, reduced nerve pain for it, I might actually see if I can make that work. Because with this light gray and, you know, wear it with a pair of red jeans and a nice black top. It's just, and Gina, thank you again for your post on Instagram looking for something similar, because that's how I found this on Lovecraft. Is that what the website is? They have a whole bunch of patterns. The link's always in my blog post. But yeah. So that's this one. I'm very excited.
So how much yarn did you have left? Is this like, oh no, now I've got 7 balls left kind of a situation? Or are you good?
No, I've got a couple. Like I could make an accessory to go with it. Like maybe I could do a hat or matching fingerless mitts or even full mitts.
Okay.
I think I've got a couple. And then I did a bunch of swatches for this one. And I think for each swatch, I just started at the end of a new skein, one of the little Knit Picks 50-gram balls. But also this, I worked on this while I still had Pepper. And Pepper really went at a couple of the balls of yarn. So what I have left needs a little bit of TLC before it can be worked with. So
Yeah.
I wish you could feel things through video.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah,
congratulations.
so that's really, really close. And even just putting that on, like, really, I have to actually work today. I've got some overtime I need to put in, and I need to pack. But then I think as soon as I'm done the things that have to get done, that's going to be the next thing that I work on.
Yeah. It's like you are really close. The two of us are, we're doing well.
Yeah. All right. What about you? What are you working on right now?
We were going to do 2 for you because you have 4.
Right. Okay. So then the other thing that I will show right now is a thing that I'm currently ignoring, but I have been knitting on while we've been talking because it's the easiest thing to do. And I've been working on this for a while, and it's just going to become the project that I ignore while I work on other more interesting things.
A background.
That's the way I knit.
Yep.
And it's the Litmus Cowl.
I really, really like those 2 yarns.
Yep.
2
This
great.
is Knit Picks. It's blowing out, even though I've got the blind closed in front of me. Let's see if I can. No, still blowing out. So the gray gradient is called Wednesday, and the other one is called Pegasus. I am over 40 inches.
Okay, so you're about 12 to 16 away from being done, depending on how you want to do it.
Yeah, so I mean, it comes to here and here. So yeah, probably 12-ish. And yeah, it's just still going, still lovely, still nice and simple. I've been teaching people to knit at work Tuesdays at lunch, and I've been taking this with me because it's a really good example of this is what a knit stitch looks like. This is what a purl stitch looks like. Oh, look, they're just reverses of the same thing. And it's something that I can work on while I'm also teaching other people how to knit. So.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, so that's it. What about you?
I will show you what I'm knitting right now because it's terribly boring. Because it's this much of a sock. Because I couldn't find the yarn I needed for my other project for like 5 minutes today. But it is going to have a little like mock cable, which I don't think is coming across, but I can see it. I just decided, so it's just going to be socks for me. And I just decided that I wanted just a slightly less boring cuff because I'm not going to do a pattern sock. I just don't see those days coming back really. But it is yarn that I got while I was in Stuttgart at the Wollfest. Is it Stuttgart? Now I'm all like, no, that was Düsseldorf. Sorry. So it's Schwedenrot, which is a German company. And this is the kind of scummy blue that I've been really attracted to lately. So I don't know what it is, but I'm really loving blues with that kind of brown rusty speckle that I'm kind of thinking of as like a scummy, like it's kind of a bright color.
Is it almost patina, like on copper?
Yeah. So I wound this up. It's not a very high priority project. So it may take me quite a while to get through, but I did buy a lot of yarn this week, and I'm really excited about 2 of the sweaters. So I bought 22 skeins of yarn. Every time we went into a store, Reiner went sock shopping and I went sweater shopping, basically, when we were in Toronto.
I love it.
And so I got one for a very simple sweater called the Building Blocks Drop, which is really interesting looking because she did an enormous amount of work so that no matter what size of person you are, even for larger people, the drop sleeve isn't going to end up here. like it does for so many patterns, it's actually going to end up mid bicep the way it's supposed to. And it looks like a really
Nice.
cozy, very plain project. And then I got this amazing teal that I'm thinking is going to be a cabled sweater that Sari Nordland just brought out. And so this is probably super low on the priorities when it comes to non-design time, which actually may be a very difficult thing to find this year. We'll see how I manage.
Mhm.
So that's it. Like Schwedenrot potential.
Is that the luxury sock?
It is. How do you know this? Oh, question. I was like, that's weird, Katie. Weird. Yes, it's the luxury sock, which is 75-25. I don't usually like 75-25. I prefer 80-20. I find that the 75-25, it's much better for shawls. I find it a thin fingering if it's a 75-25, and this is a thinner one, so I actually cast on a few more stitches. So I think my gauge is tightening up.
You've been talking about that for a while. It's kind of exciting.
Would help if I ever measured, hey, and didn't just go like, I think it's happening. Got this
All right,
feeling.
I've got this zipper noise to make. I forgot to open this one first.
Better than a crinkle, man. Crinkling packages drive me crazy on podcasts.
Well, and I don't know how many people are watching this with headphones on, but like if it's through a computer speaker, it's different in my brain, in my ears than it is otherwise. Okay, so this is something that I cast on kind of. If you follow me on Instagram,
Lisa, yes, it's the Diona pullover, and it looks so good. It looks so good.
I needed a project because I usually go to at least one concert of the Winnipeg New Music Festival and kind of mark it as a birthday thing. But this year, so many of them looked so good that I bought the full pass, and that means 5 concerts in 7 nights. And so I needed something that I could knit while I was waiting for concerts to start. Sometimes even in the break, I think I might have pulled it out. And then also, as I said, I'm leaving, I'm traveling, and none of the stuff that I've got on the go is something that's really easy to pull out or even travel with. And so as you'll see, I've got a pretty small travel bag. It's got the metal things in it, but I'm hoping that that'll be fine and going carry-on only. And so I did some crowdsourcing on Instagram for single or double skein projects that are easy. And so you actually, Sarah, suggested this one, and I picked the Pagona by Stephen West.
Oh yeah.
And it looks kind of like bat wings almost. And so I went stash diving, and this is Leo and Roxy from the sock club that you and I joined that year that you and I both got sock clubs.
I did not. You did.
Oh, I did. Oh man, I meant to bring it in here. I guess I forgot. This one came with 2. I'm looking to see if I brought them in, but I think I forgot to. It came with 2 greens as mini skeins, and the one is a really light sage with some stellina, so a little bit glittery, and the other one is a little bit of a darker one. And I might actually add both of them on as kind of the ends of this. But what's interesting about this one, so you can see here, so we've got some purl stitches here, we've got some knit stitches here, and we've got, you know, your traditional, nope, wrong direction, Katie, mirrored things. I can't figure out which direction to move my hands. We've got the spine here, right? You knit for a certain amount, and then you add a spine and another set here and here. And I'm at the point where I need to do one more of those.
Double, like a double spine, or only one more?
No, it'll be double on both sides. And so after that, it's just knit until you're done, I think. So for some reason, I have 1,000. These are my favorite stitch markers for working with small yarn and small needles. They're just jump rings that I bought at like Michael's or jewelry store forever ago. I cannot find all of them. But what I can find are these little cat ones.
Oh,
that your son and his girlfriend got me for Christmas. And so I will be using those for the rest of the stitch markers that I need. So this is going pretty well. for, a week of not working too much on it. When I'm at home, I've been working on my other project. But this is going pretty well. I like it. And I also, I've been working off my phone for a really long time for patterns. But with the other project that I'm going to show, I printed it out, and I've printed this one out, and I just kind of like it to be able to actually just like pick up the thing and just quickly glance at it instead of having to like scroll on my phone and pinch zoom and make sure that if I do need to orient my phone to be horizontal, then when the screen goes dark, then I lose my spot sometimes. And then sometimes if my phone goes off, when I open it back up again, Drive has like a glitch, and so I can't actually see it, but I need to go out.
Yeah.
It's just really nice. So yeah, so that's one of my other projects. Am I going to do my other one right now, or okay, this one I'm really excited about, folks. Really excited about. This is almost my second Imagineering project. This is
Ooh.
yarn that I bought in the first year of the pandemic. Neighborhood Fiber Company. They do a really amazing Shades of the Rainbow color in June series of, like, they do it in a number of different outputs, and I bought it in their basic stock in larger than mini skeins. Like, they are, I think they might even be half skeins.
Like 50
And then I
gram?
bought, sorry?
Like 50 gram?
And I for sure don't have it with me. But I bought 2 full skeins of, I believe it's their Uptown, which is just kind of a nice gray. And I was planning on making it into a sweater, and we've talked about this on the audio podcast. Like, I just realized that I was just gonna freeze partway through, being worried about whether or not my stripes were gonna work or what. And so I went digging, and I found another Stephen. I haven't knit Stephen West in a really long time. I love the creativity of what he's doing, but it doesn't speak to my aesthetic most of the time. But I found this Painted Rainbows shawl and realized I'm going to be playing Yarn Chicken with my main color. Full stop. But I will not be playing Yarn Chicken with the colors, because I've got way more than he calls for. But this is how it's going.
Ooh, even that little tiny niblet was quite attractive. Oh my God.
So I can't actually show you the whole thing because I have almost 570 stitches
Oh my
on
goodness.
this needle right now. And it's going to be a ginormous half circle.
Look
And
at
as you
that.
can see, yeah, like, so this is always in reverse stockinette. This is always in stockinette. It's like bouncy right now, but I know it's going to soften out after I block it. It is vibrant. It is colorful. I just want to be done. I've never worn a half circle shawl. I will figure that shirt out because I want to wear this all the time. Now the border is going to be interesting. It is actually done perpendicularly in stripes. So I will be knitting it on, and it starts with some sort of short row for the first one that I've read it, and I've read that part of the pattern 3 or 4 times at various parts of the day. So my brain is functioning in different levels. I just need to knit it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is where we're at. And I love the fact that, so this is a six color rainbow. And the way that this works, the pattern is written for 24 contrast color stripes. So that's perfect repeat amounts. So what I've done, I literally like I said, my day didn't start the way I wanted it to. I was midway through this purple row at noon. And so I sat down and finished it. And I've also weighed all of my yarn. And I've tracked how much I have left on my blog post about this, so that I can kind of track what I had before and what I had after. And I have not checked my gauge. But my gauge, I know at the beginning was a little bit not there. But this is, I'm pretty confident that even if I do end up running out of this, I will be able to find something similar enough that it won't be a big detraction.
I don't think so.
So yeah.
The
so
other
this-
stuff is so attention getting, like it's really hard to imagine.
like this is monstrous, people. I'm almost 6 feet tall.
So
Think about that in relation
it's
to
amazing. Oh,
like
wow. So, okay, 2 questions. One, when did you start?
let me pull up my blog post. I don't remember. Yeah, stained glass window.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you to everybody who's been I started this on January 15th.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it had been like 2 weeks because we were talking about ideas during our last podcast and we missed one. So that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I have been going nuts on this. I just
Well, yeah,
it
I
has
mean,
been getting hard to keep at it because the rows are so long.
yeah.
I've been finding myself putting them down a little bit more, but the nice thing is that I didn't get to 500 plus stitches until kind of the last 2 sections.
Yeah. So my
I've
second
also
question,
been, sorry?
my second question is how much is left? Like, where are you before you go to the sideways bit?
Oh, literally, that's the next thing I do.
Oh, okay. Wow. Awesome.
Yeah. That's it. I start the border next time I pick this up.
Oh, awesome.
And I have 24 grams of the purple left, and then varying amounts of the other ones. And then the one that I've got the most left is the red. I've got 36, but I only have 70 of the main color. So we're gonna see how this goes.
You might, if you're worried, one option would be just do 2 stripes of the red side by side, like do red, red, and then the others.
Like every time I come to the red, do red, main color, red.
Yeah.
And then the other ones.
Yeah.
I don't have the math up, but I have a significant amount of the red, or a significant amount of the color more than needed.
Yeah. Okay. Then
So I'm not particularly worried about the color. It's gonna be the gray.
The gray, yeah. Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. It's just wow.
Yeah, I mean, like what happens when I get obsessed with a project.
Yeah.
Place got a little bit messy.
Yeah, I mean, I ignored a lot when I was going hard on this. This was very all-consuming post Year of Gnomes, like, or as that was all wrapping up. This was like kind of the only thing I was working on for about a week. That wasn't desk work.
It's also like it's been -40 lately for quite a long time. It feels like, I mean, we're nothing compared to last winter, but and my living room is a beautiful dark gray. That means that light doesn't bounce around. And so also knitting on something so colorful in, one of the harder months of the year has just been amazing.
So I can't find my sock blockers. I have looked everywhere. I was also just looking right now, like, oh, maybe I'll like serendipitously grab. No, I don't know where they are. I'm stumped. I finished one. Socks look so terrible when they're not on sock blockers. So this is the first one for Reiner. I'm trying to do work stock style socks for all 4 of us. Sandra's pair was Reiner took it to her for Christmas. Tia's got his for Christmas. This will be a birthday sock for Reiner. I took it along. I left this one behind, took all the notes I needed, and took this along for my travel knitting. But I also had a design project along. So I mostly knit on that, which is why, like yesterday, basically I did this yesterday, but I really wasn't knitting a lot. Like, we go to Toronto for a library conference, but the first few days we go early. The first few days it's like all about family, and we stay with our cousin Erin. Erin has many children and the 3 youngest are like the kind of like, it's like 3 girls who are like, oh my goodness, a visitor, let's make believe, and it gets pretty intense. So I wasn't knitting much at all. And when I was I knew it would happen. But I also knew, like, what if something happens with my design knitting and I can't work on it and we're not going to a yarn store till Tuesday? Like, this would be 4 whole days, people, 4 days. So I did bring this. And I am glad, because like yesterday I was just like, I need to make a decision about the design. I don't want to make the decision about the design. That doesn't, like, sometimes design knitting is just knitting, and sometimes it feels like work. And yesterday I needed it not to feel like work. So I got this done. I'm now ready to start the toe. So I'm really close to being done. And I just really like working on these. I bought more than I needed for just 4 socks, so I will probably keep going on this, but next would be me. And there are a couple of colors and I don't know which one I most want. Do I want the very amazing red, or do I want that really amazing super dark green that I got? It's a hard call. But so yeah, that's it. It's not exciting or even really attractive without the sock blogger to help it not just look like a limp sock. It's all it is. But we are in love with this Knit Picks Stroll Tweed. It's funny how different it looks in the bright colors versus the dark colors.
Yeah.
So in the dark colors, it looks really tweedy. And I mean, some of this will just come off in the first couple wearings, right? These little nubby bits. Because if you look, this has the exact same blend in it. And it looks so different, but that's because one of the things is just tone on tone with this.
Yeah.
So like, yes, you see the dark black ones more on the brown. So it just looks, it's funny to me how much this looks like almost like it's like speckled with like lights or something, whereas this just looks like a regular tweed. And I don't know why it's so different for the darker colors versus the lighter ones. And I will sometimes go along and be like, don't need that one. That one's too much right there.
Yeah.
But like they'll wear off a bit. But I think this is a really fun yarn. And look at how tight my stitches are. I'm pretty sure that's a tighter gauge. It is a thinner worsted or thinner fingering as well. So I did cast on a few more stitches for Reiner for this one. I started like based on Sanders sock. I then like modified Tias's and Reiner's.
There's a question. Can you feel the nubs on your feet when walking?
No, not at all.
They're super soft, Gina. It's like a small amount of.
It's a fluff, not a nub even, right? It's like if someone took a piece of cotton ball and just like pulled a little piece off and laid it next to something, like you can feel, especially on this side, like you can feel that there's a little something there, but it's smoother even than feeling the purl side.
Yeah. I
would say. So yeah, no, it's not a problem because we do have some princessy feet in our family, and I wouldn't hesitate at all.
Yeah, no, they're pretty great. Can I show a non-knitting thing?
Sure.
I've been having fun doing stuff around the condo lately, and right next to me, I have installed 2 floating shelves and bought the plant holders and 2 new tropicals. So I've got a Nephthys and a Pillar Hoya.
Ooh. And
That's
2 plants
exciting.
eaten by cats.
Yeah, the one that was worst eaten by cats actually came to me like that. Somebody gifted me a cutting of a prayer plant, and while I was over there, was just like, "Here, take this one too." My cats have really been enjoying it lately, as you can see. And the other one has not been eaten by cats, but I have been a hard time. When I first planted that new spider plant, I put it in something that didn't drain and overwatered it. So now it's in something that drains. And actually, I'm waiting for it to arrive. I've ordered something to mount onto my bathroom wall that will turn into a little bit of a living wall. And so some of the plants that are up there will actually go into that. And then I've got other plants that I want to put up here. But it's this is the first time that I've put plants up in my office, and just like, it's so funny. This is the room that I probably spend the least amount of time in. And this is the room that I have done the most in terms of hanging art intentionally installing those shelves. I've got this little like nook thing over here. But it feels good. Your plants look amazing. That window clearly does all of them real good.
I love it so much. I just wish I could. The problem is our two younger cats are plant eaters. One of them's a gnome killer, and both of and the other is a plant killer. But like Whisper got him. We had some incidences just before we left. We lost both Naomi's from the original No Fun pattern set. And then from my 12 gnomes, like my year of gnomes, Noah.
Oh
Not
no.
okay. Luckily,
Whisper's a good hunter, but bad cat.
yeah, and the niblet that went with this is gone. So like at least they're the little ones to replace.
Yeah.
But I liked having the originals. Like I there's something for me really nostalgic about this set.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I've got one cat that just mows my spider plants, and I've got another cat that just cannot be trusted.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna see. So far, Cinnamon doesn't seem to be too inclined to eat too many of my plants, but we will see.
Yeah. Some of them they just don't like, but spider plants in particular seem to be absolutely mesmerizing.
All of my spider plants are up high. I have
Yeah.
a whole bunch that are actually hanging in planters in front of windows.
I've been trying to figure out how we can do that here. I'm always really nervous about not getting finding the stud. I seem to have no faith in my ability to do that.
I've been doing drywall studs.
Like the anchors?
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know if I trust plants. Plants are so heavy.
These shelves, we'll talk about this offline.
Yes, everybody, I know it's tragic. It was so sad. Yeah,
that is so sad about the gnomes.
I'm so glad I got my pictures like the day before this happened. But the good news is I did buy a new gnome shelf. I've got a new gnome cabinet because we were
wait to see it in person.
We were maxed out basically, and so I've got a place, but I think the one shelf is big enough to fit this size, or maybe this is the one that couldn't. It's nice and tall. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Yeah, so it's only I put like a few gnomes in and was like, gotta go to Toronto. So just like this, I left a lot of things that I was really excited about, like very nearly ready. So
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. Our next episode of this will be delayed because now Katie's traveling to Ontario. But it's all good. We will post that date when we figure it out, because the date that would be most obvious is a date when I'm teaching a class online at River City Yarns. If you're interested in taking a class all about insights into baubles, whether it's for like noses, which is the context where I use baubles, but we'll be going through 6 types of baubles, and then also talking about some of the beards that people get intimidated about on the gnomes, which also covers things like casting on and binding off and some other techniques that you can use in non-gnome contexts.
Oh, hey, well, we're visible.
Well, we're visible.
Well, because they're audio podcasts.
I know, but that's funny, Katie.
I know. This has that's the wrong side. A knitted on I-cord edge.
Where you just slip, where you slip the first 3 on every row kind of a thing?
Yeah. And I just love it. Especially because this is a ginormous shawl. And it'll have a lot of weight to it. And the I-cord edge is just going to create a real, you can see there's some stretch in it, but it's going to create a real solidity. Like I'm pulling real hard right now.
Yeah.
And it's just not giving. So very, very excited. Somebody has explained what non-gnome context means.
So let's say
you're using a bauble on like a sweater.
Yeah. Or so some of the beards they're achieved through particular cast-ons and particular bind-offs. Or for instance, one of the beards, it really freaks people out, but I used it originally for 2 shawls. And it's a side by side thing where you drop them, and so like kind of like you have got where it's self-fringing, and that can kind of intimidate people because you have to drop the stitches to do this. And so by doing this for the beard class, it will free you to do things like Katie's, or like I've got 2 shawls where you go side to side and it just fringes itself. This is the Prairie Valley, this one.
That is a beautiful shawl. Also, Barb has come back
Oh,
to explain
yeah.
that it was a joke, because obviously there's nothing but gnome knitting.
Yeah, there are nothing. It's all gnomes all the time in my life, it would seem. But yeah, sorry. I have to take things seriously. If you ask me a question, I gotta be
the
earnest.
same way.
No one can be, if they ask me a question, no one can leave till I've explained it in at least 2 ways, one of which will probably use an analogy.
Yeah.
So,
Here's to Sunday afternoon.
yep. As ever, notes will be extremely sparse, but we will link you to places with more notes.
Yes, indeed. Thank you to everybody who has joined us today. It's really great. And thanks everybody who watches this after.
Goodbye. How do I end this now?